Hey everybody, this is Dan Sfera, and I'm here with
Dan Peart.
and we are from Keller Williams Irvine, and Dan is the team leader here at Keller Williams Irvine, and this is the Realtors Show. So we make this show to empower other real estate agents out there on everything: how to run their business better, how to be more productive, how to make more money, how to use social media, how to get more leads. I just finished teaching a class on social media, so I'll be talking about some of those things in this interview. And what else do we do, Dan?
What else do we do?
Yeah.
We help realtors succeed. I mean, that's our biggest thing. I mean, you teach classes most likely to help them succeed
Right.
at a higher level, and what I do is I help them learn how to grow their business, leverage their business, and then expand their business.
Mhm.
So it's a 3-step process that could take several years, and it's one of the best things about what I do.
Yeah, and because this is a large industry, we understand that there's a lot of competition amongst realtors, and
There is.
I don't know the stats, maybe you know the stats, but a large percentage, I would say the majority of realtors are actually not successful, and that's unfortunate, and we hope to change even a little bit of that, at least for somebody out there. If each video just reaches one person,
Right.
we're doing our job.
Exactly. It's a way of giving back and helping them understand what it takes, I think, to succeed
Mhm.
at a level with the top producers, because the gap is really not that big of what the top producers do, and I think they don't want you to know that. You know, if I was a top producer and you were coming in the business, and
Yeah.
I don't want you to know that, hey, what I do is actually really simple.
Right.
I want you to keep thinking it's really hard, so that you're
Yeah,
not
so I don't take over your farm or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
So-
So,
Yeah, good point. So part of the way that we learn is we learn from others' experiences. So like Dan is an experienced realtor. I mean, I don't know how many years you've been doing this for.
I've been doing this for 14. I've been in the real estate business for 14 years.
Okay. So I've been in it for 2, so Dan definitely has a lot more experience. My angle is more of the marketing yourself, creating your brand. So Dan, if you don't mind, let's talk about, because people like to learn from others, let's talk about your career, how you got started in real estate, and what excites you most about this business.
I've been in the business, like I said, 14 years, and then during that 14-year period, I stumbled for the first 9, and I think that was the pivotal breaking point. And I was introduced to Keller Williams in 2004.
2004,
right when
okay.
the actual Red Book came out, like last time.
Were you attracted to Keller Williams because of the Millionaire Agent book?
I was. I
Okay.
read the book, and at first it was really hard for me to digest, because
Right.
it wasn't just a real estate book. It was it was a business book.
Right.
So it was about
Right.
business, and I was like, this is nothing that I learned
It's
in
so different.
business throughout the year. It's different.
Yeah.
Originally thinking it was just a sales volume. It really wasn't.
I wonder how many, because that's one of the reasons, that's the only reason why I did not even consider any other brokers, because of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Who gave you the book?
I bought it.
Oh,
at
you
the
bought it,
bookstore,
okay.
Yeah. First I bought the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and I didn't care who Keller Williams was. I didn't even know it was written by the founder.
Mhm.
But then when I got in the business, I said, oh, the same guy wrote the Millionaire Agent.
Interesting.
And then I realized it's Keller, Gary Keller, and all that stuff. So I wonder what the percentage of realtors who join Keller Williams join just because of that book. It's got to be huge.
It should be huge, although I'm very surprised at how many people have not read it.
Really?
It's been out for a certain amount of time. I mean, there are all kinds of books on real estate, and I'm sure if you're going to a Barnes and Noble or something, that it's just diluted. And the best way to do it is to go in and see what it's all about, and basically use those tools to help people grow.
So 2004, you were introduced to Keller Williams.
Right.
And so did you reach out to one of your local market centers, or how did that work?
No, I didn't actually. There was one local market center, and in that market center, the magic is follow up, right? I think that if the person that originally gave me that book, because I was in the business, so they were looking to educate me and help my life, and I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like, oh, okay, someone wants me to join their company so that I can make money for them. And so, and then I was never followed up with on it. It was, they gave me the book, and no one ever followed up and said, hey, what do you think? Would you like? I did make an appointment with a team leader and go and interview, and that was it. After that, there was no follow up. It made sense to me. I was really intrigued. At the time, I think it was just not ready to make the move, because it didn't all come together. It was a foreign language for me.
it's incredible how underrated follow-up is. For my audience from the Clinical Trials Guru, I have a saying: follow-up, follow-up, follow-up.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you think real estate agents are bad at that, I would argue and say that they're actually pretty good compared to other industries.
Yeah.
In clinical research space, there's almost no following up being done.
No, I'm sure.
Okay, so then how did your career evolve from 2004?
In 2004, it was more of the same every single year, and then in 2000, just basically, you know, my business would increase, but it wasn't to a point of where I thought it was where I wanted to go, and I couldn't seem to find the people to help me. So I had industry coaches, I had anything you can think of to try to help me spur my business along.
Were those free coaches?
No, I had to pay for them on the outside of my company, and then I was also paying my company, and then I had to pay for coaching on the outside. And my company didn't have models at the time, and when I started working there, they had an interim new agent course, but then once you got to a certain level, they didn't have any training.
So what were some of the things the coaches were telling you to do back then?
Coaches, very similar to things that they're telling me to do now. Most of it was work by referral, follow up, work your database. I think the thing that I didn't understand was that you can't just work the same people all the time. You have to have people coming in, and I built great relationships and asked for referrals and was able to build my business up to a decent level by doing that. But I really wanted something bigger. I mean, what I didn't realize even about Keller Williams at the time is it's a company that thinks bigger. They think big models. You know, when I read that in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent,
right.
It blew me away, and I was like, what am I doing here? You know, I gotta go explore this more. So that's spinning my wheels. And you gotta change, or you don't get a different result, right?
Do you still use coaching to this day?
Oh, absolutely. I would never not have a coach anymore.
And what's the value of that? Just for the agents out there, you're paying for this coaching, right?
Sure, yeah.
So would you recommend a brand new agent with very little income, because they're brand new, do you recommend that they start alone or that they pay for coaching?
I would tell them 100% to get into coaching. And
however you can, right?
However you can, and coach with someone that knows your models. Like, we've got a great company attached to Keller Williams called MAPS, and it's Mega Achievement Productivity Systems. And the goal of that is that they know our models. Each coach knows our models and how to coach within the models of our company. So it's kind of an extension of the great training that's already here.
Yeah, and hopefully our website, The Realtor Show, can serve as a coach if you don't, let's say you can't afford a coach. Hopefully we can serve as that. Send your questions into dansfera@kw.com, and every now and then we will get on the show and answer some questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, 2004 you got in. I assume you didn't have many clients, but you knew people, right?
Right.
So is that one thing you would teach brand new agents to do, is focus on who they already know, friends, family?
Absolutely. The worst thing that could happen to you in the world is that someone you know and that likes you and knows you lists their property. And I had it happen several times even over the first year, is that I would find out friends of relatives and things like that would list with somebody else, but it was my fault.
Because you didn't let them know.
I didn't let them know I was in the business.
So what did they think you were doing? Did they assume you were just in your old career?
Yeah, but I don't even think that. I don't even think they were thinking about me.
You didn't have mind share.
Yeah, I didn't have mind share, right? So we think that, they would know to refer me when they were ready to do something. And, when I went back to some of them, they said, Dan, I really had forgotten you were in the business.
So how do you, this brings up a good point, because in the social media class I just taught upstairs, I talk about the biggest thing social media does is it actually gives you mind share.
Yes.
For your audience without being annoying.
Right.
Because the agents that fail at social media, any business owners actually that fail at social media, are the ones who just push out links to their website without really creating any value.
Right.
So social media actually can get you some of your audience's mind share if you start talking about things that they like, even if they're indirectly related to your business.
Right.
You can talk about I know you like the Chargers, the Clippers.
Yeah,
me too.
Huge Charger fan.
Horrible year.
Yeah, I know.
So we understand a little bit of how to do that online, and I'll talk more about that. But how do you do that offline? How do you get mind share of your client base without annoying them?
Well, we have busy lives, right? So in our busy lives, we expect that, every piece of mail that we get, marketing, traditional marketing, here's what I'm doing, and so on. What we realized is that very, very few people out there are really looking at that. They don't care unless they have a need, right? And so you're marketing to get somebody to call you by the time that they're ready. The way you get it out there with Mindshare is you build relationships. Probably similar to social media. You probably get a lot farther by taking a picture of a view and saying, look at this amazing view, as opposed to posting your link.
Right.
Because you're having conversations, social media, right? Same thing here. It's getting face to face. I think what's different is getting face to face and making people believe, and they'll know very quickly whether you're the real deal or not. And I used to, they have to know you professionally and they have to know you personally. It has to be a mix. If I don't like you, I'm probably not going to list with you. Unless of course I highly respect you in the community and I know you're going to get the best price for my house. So you should always go for respect first. Personality and professional competence, those are the perfect measures together.
Right. Yeah, it's very much related to one guy I follow a lot, Gary Vaynerchuk. So one thing he says is, if he can provide his audience, let's say it's 100% relationship where value is 100%, right? If he can provide his audience 51%, and then he's willing to take their 49% value, so they have 2% more value. They're more willing to share that information. So online that translates into a retweet. Offline that would translate into an actual referral. Say, hey, Dan's a great realtor, call him up. So I think it really boils down to giving that value, whether it's online or offline, and always try to give more than what you're getting.
Exactly, and also authenticity. I love Gary Vaynerchuk because he's big. He's who he is, whether he's on stage or somewhere else, or he's not trying to win people over. What he's trying to do is educate them, and get them understanding what it is that he does, and they become interested. So and that's another huge key is be interested, and then you have permission to be interesting, or instead of interesting. No one's really attached until that happens.
So back to your career. So when did the business start making sense for you, and when did it actually start producing real revenue for you?
I was rookie of the year my first year in the business. So I jumped in. I did it part-time. I worked 48 hours, which I believe in driven part-timers. I think that they're great, but it's harder. It's harder now. So I was rookie of the year my first year. My second year, I did slightly more. I had a little bit of a sophomore awakening.
Were you still working your other job too?
No, actually, thank goodness. 2003 was my. It was kind of the first year. The grocery strike happened, and I was in the grocery industry. And honestly, it was the largest grocery strike ever. And so I was able to quit a job with great benefits, and come over to real estate full time. And that was a nail biter right there.
But your first year, when you were rookie of the year, you were working both.
Yeah, I was working both.
So you were working 48 hours at one job.
Graveyards, yeah.
Wow. And then during the day, so you must have been working 80-hour weeks, or
it was yeah. It was
you didn't sleep
two
at all?
Full-time jobs, yeah. I didn't do this part-time. It was 2 full-time.
Wow. Okay.
Slept 2 hours a day.
Really?
At the beginning, and then went into work because I'd get off at 6 in the morning.
Were you able to function well on 2 hours of sleep? Because I know if I get less than 6, I get really cranky.
Yeah, I think with my age at the time, I was 27, 26 years old, so I think it was doable then. I don't know today if I'd be able to do
So you did that for the whole entire year?
Yeah, for the entire
year.
Yeah.
How many, if you don't mind me asking, how many list or escrow did you close that year?
That year I closed 14 escrows.
Wow.
It just beating it up. I mean, there were times at open houses I was starting to drift off it. If no one was coming in, I was drifting.
So what worked best for you? Were all these 14 deals just people you knew?
No, you know what I realized very early on is that when you meet somebody face to face, there's something that they may like about you, something that may pull them away. And so I figured out that if I took an approach of where I educated everybody that came into an open house. And so my first year I did open houses almost every weekend. And not to the level that we do them here now, but I would go out, do the open houses, meet people, and I would follow up voraciously. Borderline stalking, right?
Okay, okay.
But I would send notes. It wouldn't all just be real estate information. It would be personal handwritten notes. It would be good, valuable information that they might want for their home. If someone told me that their kid was going to a particular school or having a particular issue or something like that, I would go buy the book that might have related to that issue that I heard about, and I
Wow.
would send it to them.
So it's really going back to like our grandfather's time, where you'd walk into a grocery store and the butcher knew your name,
Yeah.
knew your kid's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Then Walmart came through and changed all that. We became like automated, and now we're almost going back to that with
I feel that.
with the internet.
Yeah, social media I think was our gateway into that.
Yeah.
You know, we realized that, this person that I'm friends with over there, I might want to connect with in person. You know, we got a lot in common, and we share a lot in common.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that first year you did 14, you closed 14 deals.
Mhm.
Then the strike happened, so you were now your second year full time.
Right. Second year I did 20 transactions.
Wow. Very good.
Added 6. It was all right. It was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do 2 a month, and so I didn't quite hit my goal. Second year did 20 transactions, and what was that? It would be 2004, 2005.
Was it more open houses?
Yeah, I did
Primary
more open
strategy.
houses, and now I'm getting repeat business, right?
Okay.
Because at that point in time, people are referring me business because I built, the 14 people the first year. I had a great referral source, and they referred me to at least 3 to 5 people.
I think in our industry, I don't know, but I'm just speaking anecdotally. Before I was a realtor, I would work with realtors, and I would be amazed at how many times I had to reach out to a realtor to take a listing or to help me look for properties.
Right.
And I think that I still see it. I hope it's not the majority of realtors, but if it is, that's an opportunity for those of you guys watching.
Yeah,
I really think if you provide like really exceptional service, you're gonna get the referral. And if you don't, I mean, somehow they still end up getting business, but they can't sustain that long term, right?
Right. It's because they're doing it to get business, I think, most of the time. If I'm talking to you and I have an agenda that I want you to sign a listing contract every night, I mean, that is good. It's business. I'm there to list your house.
Right.
However, when your agenda is to get something from somebody that you don't owe anything to, it's kind of like, or that they don't owe you anything. It's hard to get that. They're not going to release it well. But if you give first, you're going to get back.
So should realtors actually try to establish genuine friendships with their clients, or I mean, I guess there's a gray area there because you don't want to fake it either. You don't want your client thinking, oh, he's just acting this way to get my business.
Right.
So how do you portray that authenticity?
I would say just do as you would have them do back to you, like the old golden rule.
Yeah.
If I really care about you, then I'm not going to sell you a home and leave you forever. I'm going to stay in touch, and I'm going to ask about things that need to be repaired and use that to get referrals from the outside. I don't need them all from you. But what I need I would need these people to understand is not that we have to be friends, but that after that portion of time that I care about them enough to make sure that their investment was sound. And if it wasn't, I care about them enough to hear that too.
Do you follow up after the sale closed?
Absolutely.
And you recommend others do the same?
Oh yeah, and then again and again and again. The part where they find out things aren't working, those things that happens 2 weeks after the excitement dies, and now all of a sudden, oh wait, this doesn't work or this doesn't work.
The honeymoon phase is over.
Yeah, honeymoon's over. It's your ability to be there for the tough times that will lead you into the good times again with them.
Okay. Yeah, and so we'll get into a little bit later in your career, but did you have a farm during these first 2 years of your career?
Absolutely.
Or was it just like scattered?
It was scattered.
How far did you scatter yourself out or spread yourself out across Southern California?
Wow, I had our base was Temecula, and so I would go down to South San Diego to take a listing. I would, because I'm from San Diego, and I would go to Palm Springs to take a listing.
So you didn't have a farm?
I didn't. I was willing to do whatever it took to build that database. Later on, I would refer, but in the meantime, I was going out to get it and working on my client service skills and really just building relationships.
If you had to do it again, this might be a tough question, but would you have focused on building a farm those first 2 years, or?
Yeah, I would have built a farm a different way than I think what people build farms now. I think they get into the business, they have an X amount of capital, and they want to invest that in postcard marketing and things like that.
Right.
Well, the majority of the stuff that I ever sent out, I know it showed up on Wednesday with the penny saver and everything in the thing, and we all know what we do with that. We take it and we go throw it in the trash.
That's what I do.
Right. So I would invest my money in I would invest more sweat equity in it. I would go meet them door to door, and then I would get their
FaceTime
information.
accounts.
Right. Put them in the database. Right.
Right.
It's like, let me earn your trust so I can put you in my database, and then I can build a deeper relationship with you that's going to not just eventually yield one transaction, but multiple transactions.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was telling the agents upstairs. I said, if you have a farm and to use social media, I mean, you don't want to compete with the big time realtors who are writing, 2015 market trend predictions.
Right.
Because the Wall Street Journal is doing that, like every newspaper, every major publication is doing that. The Economist is doing that.
Right.
You don't want to compete with them, but where there's an opportunity is in your actual local, hyper-local market.
Absolutely.
So go around to different business owners in your market. Let's say your market or your farm is West Irvine, right? Go door knocking on different businesses, small ones, to make sure you can actually get the owner. Tell him you have a YouTube channel where you interview local businesses, you promote businesses in this area. I mean, how many business owners are going to be dumb enough to tell you no?
Not many.
Free promotion.
Yep.
Right?
In fact, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think if everybody realized how pivotal our business is, the Home Depot doesn't do business unless someone buys a house.
Right.
Islands doesn't do any business unless someone, buys a house.
Right.
So until someone moves into a neighborhood, these businesses are, just kind of hoping for a while. So
good point. Yeah, they are definitely symbiotic there in their relationship. And then I was going to go on even more and tell them, hey, not only are you producing content now where your target audience is like learning about different businesses in your area, but guess what? That guy you just interviewed that you kind of did a favor for, do you think he has the capability to buy a home? He's a business owner, right? Or he might already have a home. Maybe he wants to list it and buy another one because his business is doing well. So you already have established context with that person.
Right.
And I haven't seen any agents doing this, actually, at least in our market.
No, it's strange what's happened. You're right. What's actually happened is, instead of aligning with allied resources, which you see agents do mostly, is tax their allied resources. So they'd go to a lender and say, look, I want you to pay for my marketing this month. Well, if I'm paying for it, then if I'm paying you, let's say I'm paying you $1,000 a month in marketing, you might not be the one that I'm sending my $15,000 commission check to, so my mom wants to sell her house. You might not be that person because I'm already paying you to earn the right to your business. And so what we're missing, I think, is the connection at this point of trading, basically dollars for pennies. And it happened because we had a market of scarcity, right, between 2007 and 2013, 2012, recently. So that point in scarcity gets people thinking smaller instead of thinking big picture, like what happens if I really have a relationship with this vendor and they're a killer talented vendor, and and going forward.
You see, we haven't even focused. That's a gem right there because we haven't focused on that.
I jumped around.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I'm learning. Yeah. The beauty of this thing is I'm learning by interviewing you.
Thank you.
Strategies out there. So you're saying most realtors, or many realtors, they're doing it wrong because they're actually urging their vendors to help them out by paying for their marketing. In exchange, the idea is, if I get this person to buy, they're going to go through you for a loan.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so you're saying there could be better ways for them to do that.
Yeah, I think loyalty to someone, you should be looking for the most talented person that's the most connected, that has the resources to be able to help your business grow. Postcard marketing has a 0.9% return. So when you look at that, if someone's actually investing in that on an ongoing basis, it takes a while to get it ramped up. There's so many better ways to do it.
Yeah. You know what works well is, at least online now, is giveaways. So Vaynerchuk again said marketers ruin everything. Yeah. So direct mail, I guess there was a point where it was cool to get direct mail. You were like excited. Yeah. And then email. Yeah, and then email was the next thing. And now, like 90% of my inbox is spam. Yeah. Now what's working is this online stuff like giveaways. Like Groupon would do, $100 dinner for $50.
Oh, awesome.
They used to be cool. Then they started spamming people's inbox. People don't want that anymore. What works now is giveaways. Right. But in 3 years, people are going to get sick of that, believe it or not. They're
Yeah.
going to be getting so much free stuff, they're not going to want it.
Right.
So we have to always be evolving and adapting. But yeah, I appreciate these interviews, Dan.
Sure.
I'm learning a lot. And so what happened as we wrap up here, after your second year, like when did you have, because I would be happy with your first or second year, to be honest with you. If I could do that every year, that'd be awesome for me as a realtor. When were you satisfied with your business?
I'm never satisfied with my business. You know,
So every
it still
year you wanna grow.
exists, and every year we want to grow. The team wants to grow. We're always adapting, because you have to change if you want to grow, right?
Right.
You have to change something about yourself, or you have to change something about your systems. And we're always trying to create efficiencies within those systems. So I'm never satisfied in any kind of thing that I do in business. I'm never satisfied. I want to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because goals. If you reach a goal, you're like, okay, well, what next? And so I don't know. I like that feeling sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes you can burn out, but then you go like, wow, okay. You look at what you did.
At what point did you reach the level of activity where you needed to have a team?
I think it was around, it was basically when we came over. I tried to grow a team, in 2008, 2009. I didn't know our process of hiring, recruit, select, and I was just hiring people that I liked, that I thought would do a good job, and I would burn them out because I was chaos. I mean, I would come in, the Seagull managers, I'd come in, just dump stuff and leave, right? Yeah. And that wasn't effective, and so ended up having some fierce conversations with some people, and I just didn't know the right way. So it was about the time I had one small REO account, and then I had a bunch of business coming in because of the agents that I had relationships with. So in 2008, I built relationships with a lot of the agents that had REOs and had these things, and then instead of just my clients being my clients, they became my clients. And so I would take them out to lunch in case they had anything that wasn't on the market yet. Try to build relationships with them, and that's when my business grew 425%. I needed help.
Wow. So it grew that much, but literally one customer at a time.
Right.
And you were hands-on with every single one. Right?
I was. And then you have to incorporate tools of leverage at some point, drip campaigns where they're receiving information from you. Your assistant should be mailing something to them that is of value to them, And what I learned, here's something I learned.
So not just like a direct mail flyer.
No, in fact, what I learned is that they were actually interested, in my opinion, of what was going on with the market. So instead of what happened in the past, which is closed sales, they were interested in trends. What is the market going to, they would always ask me, what's it look like 60 days from now? I said, I don't have a crystal ball. However, based on the financial information I've received and here's my summary. And I figured out, hey, I have a knack for trending what's going on in the marketplace, at least, in the next 30 days.
Wow, providing value. Have you ever done like billboard ads or radio, TV, any of that stuff?
None of that stuff.
Like buses?
No bus benches.
Outside of the bus or a bunch bed?
No. No. For years I grew up in Bowie, and I'd pass Eric Elegato's sign. Skateboard on his benches.
Yeah, because I think
how effective is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because we're in a unique period right now where you can actually provide real value. Like, we're here in Orange County. So, and this is probably something I might actually start doing once I build my hyper-local content around Anaheim and Orange County in general, but specifically Anaheim. What's popular in Anaheim? It's Disneyland, it's the Angels, the Ducks.
Yeah.
Right? So how much would like 2 tickets to an Angel game cost?
50, you probably get them for
50, 60
$50,
bucks,
$60,
right?
Yeah.
So take that, send it to like your best client.
Yeah.
Right? And just watch what happens. I think that is more valuable than sending out like 5,000 direct flyer ads to 5,000 strangers' mailboxes.
Especially if you know that's what they like.
Yeah.
And that's the relationship thing. It's like I always love getting things that people know about me that maybe somebody else wouldn't know about me.
Right.
Someone knows I love golf, and I get a golf book.
Or they would send you like a Phillip Rivers jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Just unexpectedly. Say, wow, I got your business you've got my business for life. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the manager bring me in a Tomlinson Players jersey, and I was like, hey, this is really cool. I was like, no one's ever done anything like this before.
So why do you think people don't do that? We're gonna wrap up now, but why? I mean, it's out there. These things are actually cost less than some of these billboards and radio ads.
Yeah.
Why do people still not do this?
I think they're more afraid of the people they know than the people they don't know. You know, rejection's a huge thing. People are sensitive to rejection. There's more kinesthetic people in this world than there are, you know, people that are, you know, hard chargers and not really worrying about what people think. And I think it's that. It's that approval to others, that addiction to the approval of others that's really taken away people's confidence.
Right.
And I think it's confidence as well. I think once they start doing it, it's easy to build momentum.
Oh, okay.
But you got to start. And
Yeah.
the starting is the part that makes your gut hurt. And
Yeah.
so that's where the edge is with the top producers.
Yeah, and I do predict at some point we're gonna get sick of receiving free stuff, but it's gonna be a while from now.
Yeah, because free doesn't always mean value.
Right.
And so I have to open it, I have to look at it, determine I don't like it and don't want it, and then I'm going to delete you.
Yeah.
And too much free stuff is not valuable.
It's not valuable either, and yeah, it could be seen as a bribe and kind of tacky. So there's a gray area.
Unless
Most
it's good info,
businesses
yeah.
in the gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Right.
is good, Dan. Next week we'll talk about the second half of your career,
Okay.
how you got started at as a team lead,
Fantastic.
and then we'll go from there. Right.
Sounds great.
This is
Sounds
Dan
great.
and Dan from therealtorshow.com. Take care.